Thank you. Thank you. The applause is for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Hey, better than the Raptors.
I was at the game today,
Okay.
and it was a good game. It was a really good game. I was actually quite surprised how good they are.
No, the Jays are definitely, going to battle for a playoff spot. I mean, if that pitcher can hold up, I think, they'll be solid. I think Berrios was going today, right? He's actually had a good start to the season.
Yeah, he was great. I think he went like 7-8 scoreless innings. The bats were popping. We should do a baseball show.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys who's very up and down last year. But when he's on, he's on. But when he's off, he's off. He's kind of has to learn to really control stuff. So great start to the season. It's also Colorado though. Colorado, probably
is Colorado not good?
They probably have the worst lineup in the league, or bottom 2, bottom 3. Yeah, so I mean, they're definitely a team, especially when you're outside of course too. They always, So when you're bad and you're outside of course, it's a recipe for we should definitely win this series.
Colorado, sorry. Yeah, no, my bad. That's it. Listen, it was still fun. We took my son plays AA ball, so we took the teams out, and it was a good time. It was a good time. I like all the renovations they did. We do have actually on our channel now here at Chilltown. We do have a baseball show. It's called Texas Rangers with the boys, and the boys are two I guess former, one actually still does on the indie circuit, but former wrestlers. So it's like, imagine baseball but like with a WWE attitude, talking about it. They got Bull's got a beard like down to here.
Okay,
dude, we got some good I don't know. I know you're on that other channel. Tuesday's my last day on that one, so last time we're gonna do Fluid and Chill over there. We're gonna bring Fluid and Chill over here.
Okay.
And like we've got 20 shows now. This is good stuff. Good. Like if you haven't, just come check us out anytime. You speak Spanish?
No. No.
We have a sports show fully in Spanish called Palco 503. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. And he's got every single day. He has someone from ESPN, Paramount Sports, all like talking F1,
all different types of sports.
Yeah, all types of sports. It's good for people who speak Spanish.
I like that. I like that. I've been watching the Masters today. I mean,
do you watch?
I'm a golf guy. No, I'm a big. I do enjoy. I mean, I'll watch every major, and when Tiger Woods was at his peak, I was probably watching a little more. But no, I'm definitely a fan of golf.
Everybody was watching when Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, exactly right. No, but I'm still a fan. Now it is the Scheffler era. He's playing close to. He might be the closest thing to peak Tiger we've seen in a long time.
Really? I'm not up on it. I don't.
The run that he's on right now, what he's been able to do, his strokes gained, it's actually pretty incredible. So, maybe another little boom for golf will be nice. I mean, it's still Tiger's still out there, obviously not the Tiger of old, but it's still always nice to see him at the Masters just because he is.
Well, here's a picture of my brother over at the
Masters.
He's at the Masters every year. If you want to see some cool stuff, he travels around, and does a lot of sports stuff, and he does something that I think is really sweet. He takes pictures. So here's Dab the cow. I don't know if you follow.
You told me. Yeah, he told me that last episode.
Here's Dab at the Masters.
Hey, put me up.
Here's a better one there.
I saw him at the Super Bowl too. The one who took the picture.
Yeah, he was at the Super Bowl. Dab's got its own golf cart. Excuse me. So make sure you give Dab the cow a follow on IG if you don't already.
And for all you younger viewers who don't understand how great Tiger Woods was, Tiger Woods is your athlete's favorite athlete. I promise you, Tiger Woods for a generation, he was. Yes. You ask Michael Jordan who he wanted to hang out with, he would say Tiger or Ken Griffey Jr. at the time. But a lot of people in that era, it was Tiger Woods.
I think it's Tiger too, because one, he just dominated like no one's ever dominated before. Even though Jack Nicklaus still has more wins, it's an individual sport. So there's no, hey, listen, whoever wins the most, that's who's the best. So I still think Jack's the best because it's an individual sport and he won the most, right? You can't say, oh, he had the best team. Listen, was his competition as good? I don't know. Was his equipment as good? I know for a fact it wasn't.
Obviously not yet,
right? So I'm like, he still won the most. That being said, no one dominated a sport when he wasn't just winning. He was like winning by 10, 15, like
at his peak. I've always said, in terms of dominance at their peak, I always said it's between, like, people always have that LeBron Jordan comment. Respect to them, but LeBron and Jordan never dominated. Like, one, Wayne Gretzky, in hockey, but
Gretzky did.
Gretzky did, and Tiger Woods is at that level. And you can do the Michael Phelps Usain Bolt thing, but I think that's.
But Tiger was just a different
animal
feeling when you were watching it. And the thing is, all of these other athletes, they all play golf. So they know how hard it is. So they're like, dude, I can't do what he does. Whereas a lot of times people, maybe not the greatest, but a lot of times people are like, oh, how could he have missed that shot? He's a professional, right? Hey, they all know. They're like, I couldn't do what Tiger does. I can't do what Tiger does. So that's rare when you get professional athletes saying, I can't. Because every football player thinks they could be a basketball player. Every basketball player thinks they could be a football player. Like, they all think, none of them think I can be Tiger. None of them.
Facts.
None of them. Even the good ones. Like, there's some basketball players like that are really good.
Yeah.
They know they can't do that.
And to me, I've always said, like, playing a lot of these sports, grew up playing baseball, played some basketball, soccer, all that. Golf is the hardest sport. I don't care what it says. To me, getting good at golf is the hardest thing, I would say, from my experience playing. Obviously, it could be different for other people. Incredibly difficult sport. You watch it on TV, you think it looks a lot easier than once you're really on the course swinging and all that. It's a very different experience.
The one thing I noticed is 100%. Don thinks, see, he could be a football player. Of course you can, Ron. Football, like, you kick it, football, soccer, or like football, like NFL.
Yeah, right?
I want to know which one, because there's a difference there. But no, like, golf is interesting because, like, I remember I started playing with a dude that was like, do you know what Q school is?
Qualifying school? Yeah, like Q school for golf.
Q school to get into the PGA. He was in Q school.
Oh wow! Okay.
And it was when I was living in Arizona, so we used to golf 5 times a week. And so I was getting.
Oh yeah, you was getting. Yeah, if you do it 5 times a week, you're getting.
And he gets to go to any course for free because he's in Q school. So it's really cool stuff. And when you're playing with someone who's like a scratch golfer, which means, for those that don't know golf, he's shooting 0 or into the negatives, right?
Yeah.
Ron's going to do both. Yes, sir. He gets it makes you better, right? Like, when you play with people who are better, typically you either look like you don't belong and you should leave, or it makes your game better. So I was getting pretty good. So we're playing around at the TPC Scottsdale.
Okay.
And they had set up for the tournament there. And there's I think it's called something that either the bird cage or some weird where the stands are, right?
Okay.
We're going to get to the Knicks in a minute. I get to there, and I want to say I'm 1 under.
Okay.
Par. Like, I'm having fun. Now he's helping me with my putts. He's like, hey, this goes right to left. No, it doesn't. It goes left to right. He goes, trust me, it goes right to left. I'm like, okay, fine. Gotcha. So he's like, so I just was like, I'm not cheating. He's like my caddy, because I would, every golfer has a caddy to tell them that. Why can't I? So then, of course, I would fluent up. It's the 14th tee. He's gonna win the TPC Scottsdale. The crowd's going crazy. Yeah, no, I couldn't make a shot the rest of the way. I got into my own head. There was nobody there. I couldn't imagine a crowd cheering, because the mental part of it. Like, I remember Jordan had this quote. He's like, why golf is so tough? He says, in basketball, sometimes your mind can be somewhere else. And just your muscle memory, your athleticism can sometimes, there's a minute or two where you're distracted, you're not thinking, whatever. You can get by. You can just, run by someone, jump over someone. Like, your athleticism can compensate sometimes. He goes, in golf, doesn't matter how big, how strong, whatever you are. If you're not focused, you're going to miss the ball. Like, you just want to, like, you can't hit a no look. There's no look passes in golf. You can't, like, look away and hit the ball. It's just not going to happen. So it's kind of found it interesting. I want to start, just recap a horrible season, but a rebuilding season for the Raptors. Then I want to get into our NBA picks for who's going to win the awards. Damn balloons. And then I want to get into confetti. Yes, I'm getting good at this, man. And then I want to get into some playoff matchups, because the Knicks, the New York Knicks,
talk about it.
Number 2 seed New York Knicks. And in the West, if I would have told you OKC was going to be the number 1 seed, would you have believed me at the beginning of the year?
We knew they were coming. This is just happening a year early. Yeah, it might be happening a couple years earlier than we expected.
All right, so I don't want to listen, we're a Raptors show, so let's talk some Raptors. 25 wins. Mm-hmm. Not surprised. They traded away Pascal Siakam. They let Fred VanVleet walk in free agency over the summer. They traded away OG Anunoby, and Scotty Barnes unfortunately got injured and has missed the last quarter of the season. The question is this. We're not going to get into draft because we're going to have the whole summer to talk. Not summer, but up until the draft comes, we're going to have the whole. We'll cover draft stuff. Although I think they should draft Zach Edey. I'm just putting that out there.
I'm on the Zach Edey. He's going to be the biggest flop in NBA. if he's taking matches me, we talked about it before, but we can get into that.
Flop?
No, I think the way people are hyping him up, like if he's, to me, I don't think he lasts in the league more than 5 years. Like he's going to go to Europe. The NBA game is just not for him. NBA game's not for him. I'm not a Zach Edey guy.
I think the NBA game is changing.
I'm sure.
I think the NBA game is changing, and it is for him because here's the thing: you got a 7'4" guy who can now. Now you went down this path. Okay, Zach, you got a 7'4" guy who has a soft touch around anything within like 12, 14 feet, can hit free throws, can rebound, and can block shots. If your other 4 guys are basically go look what they're doing, they're spread out around the 3-point line. Sometimes you see 5 guys standing around, and the lane is just sitting there wide open. You're not good. Are you going to guard him? Who's going to guard him one-on-one? A 6'9" Bam Adebayo? He's going to hit hook shot after hook shot over guys like that all day. Draymond Green, hook shot after hook shot, right? Like you need someone because guess what? The Wembys, the Chets, those guys of the world are coming, and they're freaks of nature. And look, I'm not saying Zach can D them up and shut them down. He can't, but at least he's 7'4", a big wingspan. He could like make it difficult for them inside. Now and listen, I'm going to live. Listen, and he'll probably kill me, but I'm going to live with Wemby outside. Because the second he gets 1 foot inside the 3-point line, it's one step and he's dunking it. You know what I mean? Like
that pull-up 3-point percentage leading the NBA. I mean,
it's insane. And like I said when Wemby was getting drafted, I was like, I believe he's going to be a flop, a bust. And everyone's like, why? And I said, injuries. Nothing to do with his game.
Yep.
I said the only thing that's going to stop him is it's going to be his inability to play because he's so skinny.
People that tall too tend to have knee issues,
right?
Whatever. Yeah.
Chet looked at LeBron James in his rookie year and missed the whole season with an injury. Now, to his credit, he played all 82 games this year, so maybe these skinny guys are going to be okay.
Wemby might be built different because I've seen him roll that ankle, and you know how like LeBron rolls the ankle, ties up. Wemby's ankle just kind of comes back to place. He does not lip it, whatever. Like I've seen him roll it really bad. I'm like, wait, what? Like if I roll it that, I'm sitting out a couple games or but he just kind of gets up, ties the shoelace back on the court. I'm like, okay, Wemby's bones might be built different.
He played 7, but he's also that young rubbery
that's true.
joints, right? Like he can't do that in 5 years from now. But again, he also played 71 games, so good for him. And we'll get to the awards in a minute. So that's where I think Zach Edey comes in. There'll be a place for a guy like that because if you look at who's won the MVP the last 5 years ish, it's been big men, maybe 5 out of 6, but it's been Giannis has 2, Jokic has 2, Embiid has 1. We see that it's Wemby and Chet coming down the road. Like there are some big men there, and you need a guy who can at least attempt to slow down inside. You cannot continue like the Raptors. With all due respect, you can't keep running with Jakob Poeltl and Kelly Olynyk.
I think Kelly Olynyk is going to be a better pro than Zach Edey will ever be. I think Kelly Olynyk's ceiling is higher than anything Zach Edey will be. I think Zach Edey might be closer to Boban than he is to Victor or.
And there's a place for Boban for 10 years in this league. I'm not saying
but coming 5 minutes in the game at the end of the game.
I'm not saying he's an all-star. I'm saying he's a center that a team that lacks size, that lacks rebounding, that lacks shot blocking could use. I'm not saying pick him with the 6th pick. Okay, I'm saying whatever that second pick is, the second round pick, like later in the in the first round.
Second round, I'm not mad at, but I'm seeing draft projections boards with him going in the lottery, which is why I think it's going to be a busted lottery pick. That's what I'm seeing. The hype is getting very real. So especially with it being a weak draft, as they say, that they might reach for him. So
I am confused. You young guys.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was the most talented and most skilled era ever, most athletic era ever. How is this the weakest draft in NBA history?
I'm not sure if it's the weakest draft in NBA history. I think
that's absolutely what everybody's saying.
I mean, I think a part of that has to do with maybe the popularity of college basketball decreasing, as the people aren't as informed about players. And that's to me too. Like, I've watched less college basketball this year than I watched in the past. Like, I've watched less Duke games this year. I usually watch a lot of Duke games. I've watched less this year than the other year. So it could be that. Yeah. So maybe there could be, I guess, a lot of more untapped potential.
I told you last week they should go with my 3-year rule.
Look, I agree with that. I'm 100% with you there. That 3-year rule sounds amazing. I was telling to the guys on the panel, I'm like, hey, Fluent had a great idea. The 3-year thing, that was great. But people still had the whole it's America. People should have the right to do what they want at 18.
Yeah, I said it. I said that to Chill on Fluent and Chill on Tuesday. It's America. You should be able. you should be able to do what you want to do with your life. I said, really? Can you have a beer at 20?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, no. Can I drive at 13?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's just silly. Oh, okay. Can I become a doctor? Can I just walk into a hospital and say, hey, I'm ready to do some surgery? No, you got to go to school for that. So why can't I tell someone who's going to make a potentially $300 million, hey, you need to go to school before you come into this league?
I think NBA is well within the rights. It's a private business, private company. 100%.
Yeah, they have every right to make a living. Sure, they do. Absolutely. Go work at the Piggly Wiggly. No problem. You don't need an education. But if you're going to be make $100 million, $200, $300 million potentially, if you're going to be a role model to kids, if you're going to be whatever, all these things, I want you coming into the league where I don't have to teach you what a backdoor screen is, which, by the way, no one does anymore because they don't fucking know what it is. Pardon my French. Okay, so let's get into. So anyway, I think Zach Edey helps any team he's on. Personally, like I said, I'm not saying all-star, but look, like if you look at name the top 5 centers in the NBA right now.
Top 5 in the NBA right now, we'll go Jokic, Embiid, Bam Adebayo, Wemby. Man, I'm very tempted to say Chet. Right? Yeah, after that, you can say Chet. It's a bonus of 5. You could be a 4.
But you got to 3 before you got to a guy that was 6'9".
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, a guy who's 7'4", who can make free throws, who can shot block and rebound. You don't need him to, tween step back 3. You don't need. Everybody thinks you have to.
You don't need that. Again, I know you say like the slow thing. Jokic is dominating Luka, but they're not as slow as Edey. Like Edey's moves are very slow. Jokic is still.
I don't think he's any slower than Jokic. Now, look, he's not the passer Jokic is, of course not, or the shooter he is, but. I'm not comparing. Again, I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, could he be a top 15 center in the league? Yeah, because you got to 5 and then you got stumped.
I was like, could he be better than Miles Turner?
Right? Yeah, I think he could contribute in different ways than Miles Turner. Right? So that's all I'm saying. Like, people forget Andre Drummond was like a double machine.
Andre Drummond was just drafted in the wrong era. If Drummond was drafted in 93. And he got to play 15 years from like 93 to 2008, he might be like second all time in rebounding right now.
You're right. He might have been. Let's jump in. So I don't like this award, so we're gonna start with this one first.
Okay.
The NBA Clutch Player of the Year.
Clutch Player of the Year.
Award doesn't make sense, but.
Yeah, it's a little, it's very subjective, you could say for sure. To me, I'm giving it to Jalen Brunson. The tear he has been on. Jalen Brunson literally played, I'd say, like a top 5 player in the league, especially the last quarter of the season, but even for the totality of the season, I put him in the same tier as SGA. But him with the Knicks, with all the injuries that they've had to kind of deal with, and him being the constant there, Julius Randle going down, OG, when he got there, he got hurt. him just being the constant, even when Dante would have a bad shoe night, it's just 30 every night, still giving the passing and playmaking, setting up his teammates. Every bucket in the fourth quarter when they need a bucket is Jalen Brunson. Put the ball in his hands, not just clutch scoring, but clutch passing, clutch plays. He's doing it all for them, playing 40 minutes a night under Thibodeau. Give me Jalen Brunson.
I'm going to tell you my pick, and then I'm going to tell you Vegas's pick.
Okay.
I personally am going with this is going to shock the hell out of you. Are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with LeBron James.
Let's go! Go, James. I love to hear it. I don't know if you'll get it, but I love to hear it. You don't got to tell me. You don't got to tell me to vote for him.
Yeah. Who has been... Doesn't matter what happens in the first 3.5 quarters. Who stepped up every time the Lakers have needed him?
You saw that game today with the Pelicans?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I hear you.
He's the most clutch according to Vegas odds. However, it is Steph Curry. Steph Curry, who's currently in the lead of the clutch award, which is interesting. I think last year De'Aaron Fox had won.
Yep. I wonder how much team success contributes to the award voting process. I would assume they would want a top team.
It does more in other. I think it does. I think it does more in other ones. Okay, the next one up. This might be the easiest one of the bunch. So we'll just say who's going to win and move on. The rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year, gotta go with Victor. We know who it is. Dominating. I mean, the year started off, I guess, with some flaws that were shown early, but really kind of improved on his game every single quarter. I mean, every single quarter season, he just got better and better. The shooting got better, the defense got better, the passing got better. Like every aspect of his game just got better. And at the end of the season, I mean, if you want to put Wemby go into the next season as the top 10 guy, I think a lot of people would agree with that.
I'm so glad that what was happening in the beginning of the season, where Chet was kind of people saying, "Oh, Chet might actually make a run for this rookie of the year," and I kept screaming and yelling, "He's not a rookie."
That's true.
I don't care if you got hurt. I'm sorry that you got hurt, but your rookie season was spent hurt. I'm sorry you didn't play. That doesn't mean you're a rookie. It means you didn't play in your rookie year, whether you were benched or hurt. I don't care. You got to sit on an NBA bench and watch the game and see the speed and get NBA coaching and all that other stuff.
NBA dietitians, NBA, all that.
You literally had a year to digest the playbook. And if you haven't seen an NBA playbook, fellas, it ain't like this. It's like this. And digest it all and sit there and listen to the coaching and hear it and understand and the speed of the game, and then you got put in. Well, yeah, if I got to sit there for a year in any job and I just got to sit there and watch the person who does my job, watch them do it, and then you bring someone else in from the outside and we both start on the same day, we're not on the same level. We're not. So I'm glad that Wemby stepped up and took it away. And listen, Chet still had a phenomenal year. Like I said, played 82 games. Was really his team's in first place. He's gonna get some votes. But I think it's Wemby and it's clear. And of course, Vegas agrees. Coach of the year. Coach of the year
for this season. Ooh, that's kind of a tough one. Coach of the year.
Really?
I mean, I think so. I'm trying. I mean, a coach that's seen a big. I mean, the OKC. I mean, man, is that too? Hold on, Minnesota. I think it's. Like, I get the Thunder's coach. Like I get it. I think
it's Mark Dagnot.
Yeah, Dagnot.
I want to say it's so French. Dagnot.
Yeah. Dagnot. I mean, I think Thibodeau has a very interesting case too with the Knicks again. And I think, again, like you said, second in the East, the way they've been balling out, I get. Minnesota holding on even with the injury to Karl-Anthony Towns is interesting. I don't know. That's a close one. Like, I get, I think Thunder coach Dago.
What about Mosley?
It's right there. Yeah, right there with the Magic. I get it. Man, but I might have Chris Finch. Chris, right? Chris
Finch. Yeah, Chris Finch.
Yeah, I think I might have him. I'm going with Finch. I think that team getting him to where they did, and I just think that team has a lot more flaws than people realize, and he did well hiding it.
Because I picked the Magic to finish significantly lower than they did, I'm gonna go with Mosley as my personal pick.
Gotcha.
But I think Mark D is gonna win it. I think it's gonna win it running away because OKC finished. I think if they didn't finish first, we might have had a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I think because they finished first, guys like Bickerstaff and Mosley and those guys they're going to say, hey, they did a great job, but they didn't do this. They didn't do a job like, right? Like, what's his name is going to get no love, which is, Mazzulla, because, he's got the best roster. Even though they're first, and that's why I said it matters less. I hate to say it for Boston because it was kind of expected. Whereas I think if, like I said, if I told you at the beginning of the year, OKC was going to be any higher than fourth, because everyone said, okay, Denver's the defending champs. They're coming back. Phoenix with KD. Now, we didn't know the injuries, but Phoenix is coming in with Beal and Booker and KD. They're going to be up there. No one thought the Warriors were going to be that bad. The Lakers coming off, even though they got swept in the Western Conference Finals, they were like, hey, they won the offseason. Remember? We won the offseason. Lakers won the offseason. So there's 4 teams, right? Sacramento no one thought Sacramento would be as bad as they are this year. So there's like 5 or 6 teams that you would have said, hey, OKC's got a, if you would have said they're going to finish 4th, people have been like, yeah, I think that's their ceiling. 1.
And to clarify, all these teams that we say were worse than expected still finished 10 games above 500. Insane, right? It's just like
the West has been well, yeah, absolutely. And Vegas has Mark D as well.
Gotcha.
Next one up is most improved.
I mean, we got to give a shout out to Jalen Williams. I thought he's been great this year for OKC, doing his thing. Kobe White, I thought was really good too for Chicago. Lauri Markkanen, step for Utah, but I think the winner is definitely Maxey. What he was able to do, put up great numbers. Even when Joel Embiid was down, tried to hold it down. Obviously, wasn't that successful, but still, kind of did his best carry job impression, or tried to. But I think Maxey probably runs away with it just because the numbers statistically are just so solid.
This is why this award is so tough for me, because I agree with you, and Vegas agrees with you and agrees with me that it's going to be Maxey. Kobe White 100% deserves some of that love as well. But when you go into a situation, I'm not saying it's easy, because it's one thing to come off the bench and do something. It's another thing to be a starter and do it night in and night out. But when you go from being the second guy and, you're doing, it's a completely different role. And then, they move off from James Harden. He slides into the starting role. Embiid gets hurt. So it's like, hey, we need you to step up. He was put into a position to say, go and take it. He should get the credit for doing it. But I mean, when you go from a bench to a starter, it's almost like it's tough. It's tough it's tough to not get it when you get so much more opportunities than you did before. But like I said, you still have to capitalize. So I think that's an easy one. Story to Tell wants to give it to SGA. We got another award for him though. Don't worry. This one, I'm going to disagree with Vegas on this one. The 6th man of the year. The 6th man of the year.
Ooh, 6th man of the year this season. 6th man of the year. I want to say contender. I mean, contenders. Who's Boston's 6th man this year? They have someone. I mean, they were elite. I think kind of a weak year for a 6th man.
They moved Derek White into the starting lineup.
Yeah,
because I thought Horford was going to start and White was going to come off the bench, but they started him, so he would have been
okay.
But typically, like last year, I would have had Bobby Portis last year before he missed some time.
Yeah, he was always solid. Norman Powell.
Yeah,
he's solid for them. Malik Monk, if he wasn't hurt, I mean, probably one of those guys.
Malik Monk is Vegas's pick. He's the odds-on favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weak year for a 6th man. Like, no one really jumped this year.
I think there's a clear-cut winner. And once I say the name, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Talk to me.
Naz Reid.
Oh, Naz Reid is a starting caliber player. And in a lot of teams, I actually love Naz Reid.
I think on half of the teams in the league, he's starting.
I think
he just happens to be.
Yeah, to me, if Dallas got Naz Reid, they're in a whole different conversation. No, that's actually right. 6 man, like he's probably giving them 16 and 8, something along those lines, off the bench. And I guess Cat got hurt. He was starting for him when he was hurt. That probably helps him. That being good. No, it makes sense. The Naz Reid
I think he's got it now. Malik Monk, I think definitely will get. He's still again. He's the Vegas odds-on favorite. Vegas is not in the business of losing money.
Yep.
So they're rarely wrong, but we got a couple left. Defensive Player of the Year.
This is the one. So I know the league and everyone Vegas, they want to give to Rudy Gobert. Shout out Rudy Gobert is great. I just think that team is very talented defensively. Victor has put up these incredible counting stats defensively, but I just think the team is just too bad for them to give it. They're still stuck in that team has to be somewhat good. Anthony Davis 100% deserves a Defensive Player of the Year. I think his value to the Lakers, them being incredibly problematic defensively, him hiding a lot of their mistakes, and them still having a really good record. I know what they finished. What they finished eighth in the West. I mean, the West is just Lakers. Yeah, finished 8th in the West. The West is just so stacked. Like the difference between 8th and 3rd, I don't think is as big as people would, you would assume between the 3rd place and the 8th place team. So I actually think Anthony Davis deserves it. I think Rudy Gobert will win it though, because it's a lot, the Defensive Player of the Year thing. It's a lot of the narrative. Like whenever a player starts the beginning of the year and they're like their DPOY just kind of sticks to it, and it kind of reminds me of like in baseball when writers before, how they value. There used to be a time when like RBIs or like pitcher wins where stats win the Cy Young. You have to win like 20 games and on it, right? But then you kind of learn the advanced stuff. You're like, all right, the win stuff, it's not really, as important as some of the, ERA plus and things of that nature. Some of the advanced stuff that, advanced numbers that showcase better. So I think Anthony Davis wins that. Victor's there. But I think Rudy Gobert is going to get it.
Yeah. He's minus 2,500. That's
crazy.
On favorite.
That's
and here's why he's the odds on favorite, because Vegas looks at how they pick the winner. And when you look at the winner of the Defensive Player of the Year, every year, go back and look. It's the guy that has he's typically ranks very high in the advanced analytics of defensive statistics, is pretty good when it comes to either blocks or steals, depending on or rebounds, depending on their position. And always, they anchor a top 2-3 defense in the league. Always, every single time, right? Like I'll use your guy. When LeBron was robbed of his Defensive Player of the Year, let's be very clear. Marc Gasol led him in 5 out of 6 advanced defensive statistics. His blocks to LeBron's steals.
Yep.
The difference between blocks and steals between the two, put them pretty much on the basic statistics equal. But Marc Gasol led in 5 of 6 defensive advanced stats, and his team was ranked significantly higher. He was the best statistical defender on the best defensive team. And that's why he won, and why he wasn't robbed per se. It's because that's who they give the award to. Marcus Smart was not the best defender, but
I don't think any guard or wing is ever technically the most valuable defender in the league, because even like the years
that's what it is. It's not
the big man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not the most valuable defender. It's not even the best defender. I would challenge you to say rarely does the best defender win the Defensive Player of the Year. So
a lot of narratives. So I'm saying a lot of narratives in that award.
Rudy is the best defender statistically, advanced statistically, whatever, on the number 1 defense in the league. So he's going to win it. But Anthony Davis deserves some of the votes. Jaden McDaniels deserves some of the votes. Heck, Herb Jones probably deserves some of the votes. I would tell you, if I look at even though the problem with Victor is his defense is ranked like 23rd.
Yeah.
But to be leading in blocks and up there in rebounds as a rookie and doing everything that he's doing on a bad defensive team where there's no help, you're like the sole defender. I think that means more. I would give this rookie the defense. If I had a vote, I'd actually vote for Victor.
If you watch Victor play defense and you watch Rudy play defense, no one is walking away saying Rudy Gobert is better. There's just no way.
Right.
Just no way.
Exactly.
And this would be Rudy's 4th or 5th DPOY.
5th.
That's wild. He's gonna have 5.
Go into the Hall of Fame. He's gonna go into the Hall of Fame just based off that. Just based off that. Ben Wallace did the same thing, and I would say Ben Wallace is a significantly better defender than Rudy Gobert, but it's his 4th. Okay, thanks, Green. Green says it's his 4th.
Look, there's gonna be guys 20, 30 years from now saying Rudy Gobert is a top 5 defender of all time because those 4 defensive player of the years. You know how that works. The accolades tend to mean a little more as the years go on. That's just crazy. And to me, Tim Duncan and Anthony Davis arguably are top 5 defenders all time. And neither of them have a DPOY. Crazy.
But that's why listen, it means something, but it doesn't mean everything.
I hear you.
I'm just double checking. This would be his 4th. Yep, absolutely right, Mike. Good job. All right, next one up is
ties him for most all time, right? With like Ben Dwight too, I think, or
no, I think that
may have 5. I wonder.
No.
I'm curious. Let's see. Ben Wallace has 4 or 5.
Dikembe and Ben Wallace each have 4. So okay. Rudy would tie them. Is there? Let's see. Did I miss anything? Did I miss any awards? I know there's one more. There's definitely one more. I'm curious to see how we're gonna what your take is gonna be. All right, let's go MVP.
The MVP, the award with so much. This is another subjective award. Is it best player, most valuable player to their team? Is it the best player on the best team in the league? Or best record? Which criteria to go on? For me, I'm going this season. The best player in the league. To me, a historic regular season, and I don't think he gets nearly the love that he should for it is. It is Luka Doncic. Historic season. We saw the counting numbers, points, rebounds, assists when you combine those. I think it was like top 10 all time, maybe close to top 5. Especially if you take away the Wilt numbers. What he did for the Dallas Mavericks just does it all. Scoring, playmaking, rebounding, passing, everything except elite defense. But even defense this year, he wasn't a cone. He was not a cone on defense. It was a little more effort on defense this year.
Yeah, so, he gave some effort.
Yeah, he gave some effort this year. Obviously still not elite, but Luka Doncic for me is the best player in the league, and I think he will show that in the playoffs. Give me Luka Doncic.
It's not a bad pick. I think he and the Dallas Mavericks did him a huge favor getting out of the play-in. Because if he was still in the play-in, no chance, no shot. Being the 5th seed now gives him a shot because we've seen guys in the 5th, 6th seed. Not very rare, like Kareem, Russell, Jokic, like maybe 3 in the history of the MVP have won it not being a top 3 or 4 seed. So when you do something historic, like most points, rebounds, assists since the merger, thank you. You're gonna have some consideration. However, Vegas, just for the record, has Jokic as the favorite to win it for his 3rd one. A lot of people think he should have won it last year. But I think last year, here's where the narratives come in. Last year, it was given to Embiid because Embiid should have won it the year before that. I think Jokic's first one maybe should have been Embiid's or the second one. One of them should have been Embiid's and whatever. But anyways, I think last year's Embiid MVP was a makeup call. And that's the problem, is that there are narratives that are spun.
So much, yeah.
And basically the last, like I said, you've got Giannis with 2, Jokic with 2, and Embiid. So if you got 5 big men, 5 foreign big men, 5 foreign big men winning the award either the last 5 years in a row or 5 of the 6, whatever it is. And I think they want to give it to a guard. So that gives Doncic an opportunity because technically he's a guard. But I think they're going to go with the best player on the best team.
Oh no.
Who doesn't have a stacked roster, who although isn't American, is North American. And they do want to drive the guard narrative again, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've gone a little too far, big man. And listen, they see the future too. They see the Chets and the Wembys and these guys coming. So they're like, Jesus, like we're just gonna be overrun with big man. We gotta give the guard some love. I think it's close. I think this might be the closest MVP vote we've had in a really long time. I'm going with SGA. And that's not because we're in Canada, man. I really legit think he has done enough to be in the conversation. And when your team is the number 1 seed in, we all agree, like a conference where the number 10 seed won 46 games. The 10 seed won 46 games. I know it's not like that year where all 8 Western Conference teams won 50. But you had number 7 at 49 and number 8 at 47. Heck, you even have Houston, who's the 11th seed. Just think about this, at 41 and 41.
500 teams.
The 11th seed at 500 in the West. So you're the number 1 seed, and the problem with Tatum is he's got Brown and Porzingis and Holiday.
So let's say, how many games would Boston have had to win for you to say Tatum, based off the logic of best player on the best team?
70 plus.
70 plus. Okay.
70 plus.
I got it. Yeah.
70 plus. Yeah. They were close. They got 67.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, but a 60, I want to say like a 60. I feel like a lot of 67 win teams.
Votes. I think he'll get some votes.
Okay. I was going to, because 67 win teams, I feel like they have quite a few MVPs. You win 67 games. Yeah. You're going to have an MVP on.
Yeah. You win 67 plus games for sure. Yeah. And that's why I say it's going to be close, because there's going to be some people who say, hey, it's the best player on the best team, because we don't even know what the MVP is. Yeah. So you're going to have Tatum getting votes. You're going to have, I think Embiid didn't play enough games, so he's out.
If Embiid was healthy, do you think he would have ran away with it? Because he was not. I don't think
he would have run away with it, but I think he would have been the favorite to win it.
Gotcha.
So he's hurt, so he's out. So I think Tatum gets votes. I think Doncic gets votes. I think Jokic gets votes. I think Giannis. No one's talking Giannis, but I still think he gets some votes. And SGA. So I think you have legit 5 guys, who are going to get significant votes, right?
And they all make sense. Like, I get why each one to get. Yeah,
you can make a case for anyone. Like, if anyone said, Giannis as the 3 seed, winning 49 games doesn't deserve, with his offense and defense that he combines, because most of these other guys, let's be honest, are mostly offensive players.
That's true.
It makes sense to that he's going to get some love from some of the maybe traditional, like, let's not forget, it's the press, right? It's a bunch of old dudes, mostly. They're going to give Giannis some love, as they should. So I think it's because there's so many, and you can make a case for all of them. That's why I say it's going to be really close. So you might get a surprise, like, as much as Doncic maybe, or Jokic, whoever should win, SGA could sneak in there and just be like, some people are like, hey, you know what? I don't know if he's going to get enough votes. I'm going to give my vote to SGA. And then before you know it, like, oh, oops, everybody did the same thing. We all gave him some love.
I think SGA will get like a lot of second or third place votes. But I feel like those first place votes will definitely go more to the Jokic's, Lukas.
And just look at what I said. Jokic, foreign. SGA, not Americano. Giannis, not American. Like, it's just Tatum. Tatum's the only one.
He's holding the American flag for him. He's holding it down.
Tatum's the one and only. And then you got, like you said, Victor coming. Anthony Edwards might be the great red, white, and blue hope.
He might be, but I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Edwards, like, I don't know if he was going to win MVP, because to me, Luka's winning at least like 3. Like, if he just keeps playing this, I don't see Luka winning less than 3 MVPs. Victor's coming right there. Giannis to me is suffering from a little bit of the Shaq factor, where like a guy's just so big and dominant. You know what I mean? Just like, people acknowledge the greatness, acknowledge the dominance, but for some reason won't give him the MVP. Like, Shaq should have obviously had, I think, a couple more. But yeah, so Anthony Edwards again makes a lot of sense, but man, I wonder how many MVPs he will win, if any.
I like this one. I like what he said here, because imagine SGA, because I think on a lot of people's cards, people are going to give SGA, like, if they pick Embiid, if they pick Jokic, they might go, yeah, but SGA's second. Let's give him some love. If they pick Jokic, Doncic, Giannis, it might be, yeah, but SGA's second. Could you imagine? Could it even be possible to win the MVP without getting a first place vote?
Without the most first place votes? Yeah, I mean, I think.
No. without the that would be. I wonder if that's ever happened.
Yeah, I think he would have to get some first place votes for him to win.
Yeah, he'll get some. Yeah, I was gonna say none, but
yeah.
Some. But that would be crazy if, like,
that would be interesting.
Could you imagine you get the most first place votes, but this guy who got a ton of seconds just beat you?
Yeah, I'm like, damn. And I mean, yeah, if he wins again, I get the reasoning for it. It's just like if I'm Luka, I'm like, that shit's not better than me. I know it. Jokic knows. Giannis. To me, like, yeah, he's not. Luka, Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid are a tier above everyone else to me at the moment still.
Yeah,
Even though I think LeBron in the 7-game series can be the best player in the world. We'll wait and see for that one.
Well, okay. Well, that's a perfect segue because we got 15 minutes left. Now I know there's still play-in to do, so let's quickly do play-in because and we're gonna do it the East because I think the East could be easy. Do we agree that Philly does Philly beat Miami for the 7?
We know Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. We understand who Jimmy in the playoffs is. I don't think that's a easy game.
So I'll go with whatever you want. Miami, Philly. Who's 7-8?
Who's 7-8? Man, okay.
Because we agree Chicago and Atlanta are done.
Yeah. So I think Philly. I'll take Philly in 7, Miami in 8.
I just want to point out to the NBA because I know a couple of guys at the NBA head office who do watch my shows, and because they send me messages and say, "Hey, you weren't allowed to say that." So let me say this. So let me say this. Chicago and Atlanta should be eliminated from the play-in. If you do not finish with a 500 record or higher, you should not be allowed to be in the play-in. The play-in is an opportunity for teams that, like, whatever, maybe suffered an injury, did whatever. I know, to make it exciting, get an extra game, make some money for the NBA. I get all that. But if you're under 500, I think you lose your right to be in the play-in. I think you have to be, if you want to go 10 teams and have the play-in 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't like it. I hated it. I've always hated it. However, there has to be like I would rather them say, "Hey, Houston, you can transfer into the East and take the spot like you do in the CFL where they have a cross one because you're over 500." Like the fact that Atlanta's 5 games below 500, and they're like in a play-in. But okay, so I think they're
quick to write them off though. Chicago and Atlanta.
I am. Yeah, I think they're toast.
You know what happens though in a 1-2 game sample size? Trae Young gets hot. DeRozan or Kobe gets hot. Anything can happen. That's the thing.
Yeah, Atlanta has to beat Chicago before they can.
Yeah.
Have to get hot for 2 games. Which he can do, but I don't think you think he's beating Miami or Philly, even in a 1 game.
Hey, a Trae Young 40 piece.
Look into right there. Camera and tell me he is beating Philly.
I'm telling you right now, Trae Young. Okay,
he will. He will.
Oh, man. You know what? Exactly. Yeah, you're right. All right. I really want to say it, but I can't.
So I'm gonna put Miami in the 7 seed.
Okay.
And this is to save Boston's life because as much as Boston thinks they want Miami to prove that last year was a fluke, they want no piece of Miami. So let's go Boston, Philly. Who you got in that series? Boston and Philly.
Boston, Philly. Give me Boston in 6.
Okay. I'm good with Boston in 6. Yeah. Then you got the Knicks and the Heat.
I mean, it'll be a good series too. But the way Jalen Brunson's playing, I'm not betting against Jalen Brunson right now. The Knicks in 6. Knicks in 5. We'll say Knicks in 5.
I got Heat in 5.
Wow. So you think Jimmy Butler's obviously going to step up? Terry Rozier still there doing his thing. Bam Adebayo inside the paint.
I don't think the Knicks are good enough to win when Jaylen Brown is healthy because not Jaylen Brown, excuse me. I'm drawing a blank on his name now.
On Miami or the Knicks?
No, Knicks. No, not Brunson.
Without Julius Randle?
Julius Randle, thank you. I don't think they're good enough to overcome Julius Randle's drop from the regular season to the playoffs. And if he doesn't play,
I don't know if he's playing. I thought he was out.
Yeah, he's out. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't. Sorry, I just don't. No offense to OG Anunoby. I think there's too many injuries. Too many, even guys that are playing. Even though everyone's banged up this time of the season, I don't think the Knicks are. I'm sorry. I think they did them. Almost it was a bad thing.
No faith in Dante DiVincenzo, Bojan.
Not when it comes to. There's something about Miami. There's something about Jimmy Butler. They just
Eric Spoelstra. Yeah,
Eric Spoelstra, I think he,
having the best coach in the league, it does play a role. I think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the league at the moment.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I'll tell you, I don't care whether they play Philly or Miami. I think the Knicks are out. So then we got Milwaukee and the Pacers, and I love this.
How did the regular season matchups go?
The Pacers dominated the Bucks.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, I feel like, remember, maybe it was the matchup thing. I'm not sure why. I mean, look,
the Bucks have zero perimeter defense, and the Pacers play an up-tempo perimeter.
Halliburton's going to be cooking Malik Beasley.
Halliburton might have a first round, like epic first round.
And look, obviously, there's no stopping Giannis, but I mean, Siakam we'll make him work. I think Siakam is a good enough defender. Has the strength, size. He'll be all right. I get it, but I'm still going. To me, first round Damian Lillard. We understand first round Damian Lillard. He's probably going to give him a good 30 and 10. Giannis is still going to be Giannis. Give me the Bucks in 6. I think, maybe even 7. Give me the Bucks in 7. I think the Pacers will make it interesting, but give me Bucks in 7. First round Damian Lillard.
I got Pacers in 7.
Okay.
I got a lot of upsets this year. I got Pacers in 7. So you've got the Celtics over the Sixers. I agree with you. You've got the Knicks over the Heat. I've got the Heat over the Knicks. You've got Milwaukee over the Pacers. I got the Pacers over the Bucks. And just so you know, they're going to be paying 4 coaches come next year because Doc Rivers is going to be out after
Who's the owner? After
a first round exit. Last matchup in the East: Cleveland, Orlando.
I'm gonna go with the experience of Donovan Mitchell. Give me Cleveland there. I mean, I think Donovan Mitchell was the best player on the court there. I think that matters. Still have Mobley, Jared Allen, solid guys. This is Paulo's first playoff run, right? Franz, all those boys first. Yeah, I think so. I think that'll be a bit of an experience for them. Maybe they might struggle a little bit. But yeah, give me Cleveland. Cleveland in 6.
Orlando doesn't know any better. They don't know any better. They don't know that they're the underdog as the 5th seed.
Yeah.
And I know I've picked this the 7, 6, and now the 5 seed. So with the exception of the 1 seed, it's gonna be a whole lot of upsets in the East. Because let's keep in mind here, you got teams that are 1 game apart. Like when we talk about Miami, they got 46 wins, right? Milwaukee's got 49. Like it's
very
not
similar. Yeah.
New York has 50. There's literally it's a 4-game difference in wins between the with the exception of Boston. Everybody else is packed in there real tight. Like 46. The 8th seed to the 2nd seed is 50 to 46 wins. 50 to 46 wins. So I'm going with Orlando because, and not because of Banchero. No, because of Franz Wagner.
Yes, Franz is the real deal too.
I like what's going on in Orlando. I hope they don't leave. Because what happens is Orlando gets good and then everybody leaves and then they stink again. And then they get good and then everybody leaves and then they stink again. So
max contracts.
it's a lot of money. It's expensive to get into Disney World. So I'm going with Orlando over Cleveland. Okay, this is where we're probably going to get into a little bit of an issue.
Okay.
So you got right now New Orleans 7, Lakers. So we got to pick a winner there. Let's pick a winner. New Orleans, Lakers, 1-game series.
It's Lakers. We saw what they did. This particular game with the Pelicans playing. I'm gonna trust LeBron and AD. Give me the Lakers.
I completely agree with you. Then we've got. Turn it off. It was on. The light's not working. Okay. Then we've got, before we get to the next one, so we got Lakers and Pelicans. We both agreed Lakers win. So the Lakers will be the 7th seed, which is not good for them, by the way. Sacramento Kings, Golden State Warriors.
It's a close one. I'm gonna go with the Warriors here. I think I actually like the kind of trio of Trevor Jackson, Kuminga, and Pods. They've actually kind of stepped up relatively well for the Warriors. I think Klay Thompson's actually played better this kind of last 10-game stretch. He's there, and Stephen Curry is still Stephen Curry. So He's there. And Draymond gives Sabonis problems. I saw last year Kevon Looney was giving him problems, but Draymond gives Sabonis
he stomps on his chest. It gives him problems. Absolutely.
Problems.
Makes it hard
give me the Warriors. Give me the Warriors here.
If I disagree with you, I'll make a point, but because I agree with you, and we only have 5 minutes left, I will say I agree with you. The Kings are out. Shout out to Ox. They stink. All right. So now we've got Golden State against New Orleans for the 8th seed. Can they make it 2 in a row?
Golden State for New Orleans for the 8th seed. Man, I'm sticking with, man, the way Brandon Ingram looked is a little worrisome for me. But I really like the Pelicans. I'm going to go with the Pelicans. I think Zion, CJ McCollum's still been playing well for them. Herb Jones, solid defender. Give me the Pelicans. I think maybe Brandon Ingram will give him a nice little 25-piece, 20-piece, even coming back from injuries.
This is the run that convinces the Warriors it is time to move on from Clay and Draymond. And I think I agree. I think the Pelicans, I think the young teams start to put it together. So I think the Pelicans are the 8th seed, which brings us to OKC. It's too bad it's 2 young teams. OKC versus the New Orleans Pelicans.
I think it'll be a very good series. A lot closer than people think.
For a 1-8, absolutely.
Yeah, for a 1-8, yeah, it'll be very close. I'm gonna take. My abscess will come a little later. I'll take OKC in 7. I do think Zion is going to dominate them on the inside for sure. I just don't think they have the bodies to kind of stop Zion. I wouldn't be surprised if Zion's averaging like 30 points on tremendous efficiency for them. But I'll still believe in SGA kind of carrying that team and Jalen Williams scoring on the perimeter. OKC in 7.
I can't believe I'm going to say this because I just picked him to be the MVP.
MVP losing the first round sounds like Dirk Nowitzki. Man,
I think the Pelicans are just. I think they are too strong on the inside. I think as long as Ingram is healthy, right? Like this is with everybody. If someone gets hurt, it completely changes what's going to happen. But you know what? I'm talking myself out of it as we're saying. I'm gonna go OKC in 7. I'm gonna go OKC in 7.
I'm saying both in 7.
I think just because of the home court advantage, they get an extra game. I'm not gonna have my Canadian MVP get knocked out in the first round. No way, not happening.
That'd be a bad look.
The matchup we did not want: the Denver Nuggets and the Lakers dominated the Lakers last year. Wow, they swept them, but the games were close.
They were.
Games were close. Did the Lakers have another in-season tournament run in them?
Yes, they do. LeBron James is looking LeBron-like. Anthony Davis, he's playing with a little pep to his step. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Rui, they got that experience last year. D'Lo's not going to be as bad as he was last year. I don't think it's literally impossible for him to play as bad as he did against that Denver team. Lakers in 6. LeBron doesn't have that foot injury. He's going to be all right. I think Lakers. I think LeBron's going to give you, just LeBron might have a triple-double. He might need to have a triple-double in this series for them to win. Anthony Davis needs to dominate defensively and offensively. I think if D'Lo, Reeves, Rui can make their shots. Give me Lakers in the upset here. I like it.
For all of you Michael Jordan is the GOAT fans, get your notebooks ready. Because you're going to have a little bit more ammunition to keep that thought alive. Because when they tell you, Jordan got swept in the first round, you can tell them, yeah, but he was young and he lost to a 67-win all-time great Boston Celtics team. LeBron, with Anthony Davis, who should have been the Defensive Player of the Year, got swept by a big old slow white kid.
Wait, the defending NBA champions? That's how I'm working it. You get swept by the defending champs? It's cool. But they're going to win. It's going to be all right. I'm telling you. Oh, wait. Has Jordan ever beat a 7 seed as a number 2 seed? Ooh, if LeBron wins this, if the Lakers win this.
If the Lakers win.
Chalk it up.
Okay, and let me say this. So LeBron fans, let me give you both sides. LeBron fans, Jordan in his rookie season had a chance 2-7 matchup. 2-7 matchup against the Bucks. He lost in 4. And they had he was against the reigning defensive player of the year, Sidney Moncrief. And our guy, Paul McKeskey, who, if you don't know, Paul McKeskey played for the Bucks, and he has a show right here on this network Mondays at 9 p.m. called We Got Next. Center Paul McKeskey and sports writer Ricky Hampton. So check that out. Yes, so you could say no. He's never beat a 7 seed. He's never beat a 2 seed as a 7 seed. So and especially not at 107 years old. So you will absolutely have some more ammunition to add into your 40, 11, and 11 or 40K.
But right, 40K, 100%. I'll tell you right now, if the Lakers, if they end up making a run, if they win the championship, I'm the most unbearable person on the planet. I'm telling you right now, if LeBron James gets them
let me tell you this right now. Let me tell you this right now.
And he's Finals MVP.
Let me tell you this right now. And if he's Finals MVP, yeah, because if it's Anthony Davis, forget it. You're done.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this right now. As a Laker fan, I know we're doing a Raptors show, but I love the Raptors. I support the Raptors, but I've been a Laker fan before there was a Raptor team. If LeBron James brings us an NBA championship this season and puts us ahead of Boston, because it'll be 18-17 in total titles, I will come on and do a full episode about why LeBron James is the greatest of all time in the NBA, and it's not even a discussion.
Talk about it.
If that happens,
I'll wear my LeBron suit. I wear my LeBron suit all week.
However, when they lose to the Nuggets, we're gonna have a different conversation. All right, so you got the Lakers, I got the Nuggets. We both have OKC, but in a very, very close one.
Yep.
All right, Minnesota, the 3 seed, getting the Phoenix Suns. Excuse me. No superstars on that team. Very, very, very limited roster in Phoenix. Do they even win a game?
I'll tell you right now, it's Phoenix in 5. I think Minnesota's losing the first round to any of these teams. I think Minnesota is going to get exposed in the playoffs. Their lack of scoring options after Anthony Edwards has always been problematic. I know they got Cat back, but he's still not 100%. Phoenix have Devin Booker. They got Kevin Durant. Grayson Allen's playing well. Nurkic can still body and big it up with Gobert on the inside with their bigs. Give me Phoenix in 5. Put some respect on Kevin Durant and Devin Booker's name. They're going to dominate this series.
Wow, you are smoking some good shit over there. Minnesota is going to stomp Phoenix. Phoenix has KD might go hot and get them him and Book, mostly Book, because KD overrated. They maybe get a game. I got Minnesota in 5.
And I got Phoenix in 5. We're going to see with that one.
We're going to see. The last one, we're a little over time. The last one has my favorite team in the NBA, the Buffalo Braves, aka the LA Clippers. Shout out to Bob McAdoo. Do you know who Bob McAdoo is?
OG, yes, sir.
Bob McAdoo is going to be on the Hoopstorians Tuesday night at 10 p.m.
Oh,
this Tuesday?
He's got to be like 80 something now, 90.
Oh, he got 142, man. We had Bob Pettit on. We had Bob Pettit,
right? Yeah.
Bobby Dandridge. Last week, buddy, the Hoopstorians have the best guests. Like
they got a lot of dudes out here.
I think Jerry West. I don't know who's coming, but Bob McAdoo from the Buffalo Braves, and against the Dallas Mavericks. So I'm gonna let you go on your little Dallas Mavericks rant first, and then I'll tell you what's really gonna happen.
Yeah. So Luka Doncic is arguably the best playoff performer in the NBA since he's gotten to the NBA. His production in the playoffs has been phenomenal. He owns the Clippers. Even though Kawhi Leonard has looked phenomenal this year, I am going with Luka Doncic, who is or should be the MVP. Having Kyrie Irving playing next to Luka, we might see the best Kyrie Irving we've seen since he's played next to LeBron James. Give me the Dallas Mavericks in 6.
I think we disagreed on every. Oh no, OKC. We agreed on OKC. Dallas is about to get exposed.
Oof.
Kyrie, you got to trust your number 2. And I don't think Luka trusts his number 2.
You don't think Luka trusts Kyrie?
I don't think he trusts his number 2. I don't think he trusts his number 2. I think they play together. I think they win games, but I watched really closely that game. A lot of Dallas games, but specifically they were in Toronto. And when I always I did this last year with Denver. I was like I went and I sit right in the front row and I watch really closely on a player.
Yeah.
I feel like Luka leads one team, Kyrie leads another team. It's a weird dynamic. And as much as I really liked the Gafford and I want to say PJ Washington pickups, I really, when those happened, I was like, oh, this team just got significantly better. And I was like, are you crazy? And then Gafford started, and they're like, oh wow, Gafford. Yeah, I think Gafford was being misused in Washington. But I just think the Braves, Clippers are, I can't call them the Clippers. I think the Braves are just way, way, way too deep. I think they're way too deep, and that's what's going to hurt Dallas, because after 1-2, there's a drop off, and so that's where I think the Braves.
You don't think they play off each other like LeBron and Kyrie? To me, that's also, it's like they take turns almost. Like, yeah, they can play together, but they do take turns. Like LeBron and Kyrie were kind of like that too.
Yeah. They take turns. They do. They take turns. That's what they do. And I think that's a tough way to win in the playoffs.
Definitely a tough way to win. I just think if there's any players who can do that,
especially against the team, like if they were playing any other team, I'm probably picking Dallas. I just think when you've got Kawhi, Paul George, Harden, like there's just too many things coming at you. Again, all these picks are barring any injuries, right? This is if
how much you really trust Harden though?
I don't trust Harden.
Okay.
I don't, but he's my third option. So how often do I trust? I expect my third option to give me a game here and a game there, and we saw even last year he was able to do that, right? That's
than PJ or Tim Hardaway Jr., who would be the third options for Dallas. I hear you
exactly. So that's our picks. We're gonna go through each round, but let me ask you, just way too early, NBA final, who's in it? Who's winning?
Sure, I'm gonna stick to my guns. Go with the Lakers versus Boston, NBA Finals. Who's gonna win it? It's so stupid. Like, I know Boston's a better team, and another LeBron Finals loss would definitely hurt the narrative. I just know it. I know it's coming when they make the finals. And
3.5 and 7. 3.5.
It's so stupid. Shoot, I'm a ride or die. Give me Lakers in 7 in the finals, man. They're gonna do it. Anthony Davis, they got Porzingis not stopping Davis. They got nothing for Anthony Davis inside.
I got the Boston Celtics. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna keep it real, not fandom. I got the Boston Celtics beating the Minnesota Timberwolves in the NBA Finals.
Minnesota's going to the finals.
To the NBA Finals.
We're gonna see.
Listen, there's a narrative in Minnesota that they can't make it. That once a player gets big, they leave. If they don't make an NBA final in like this year, next year, they're just gonna. And so I think there's the script writers are like, let's at least get them into a final and keep Ant and keep Gobert and keep Cat, keep those guys there, and let's build up Minnesota a little bit. So I'm gonna go, but they lose in 6. And they're the one team that can give Boston some trouble because they're big, and Boston is not. Boston is small, so it's going to be an interesting. Even though Porzingis is tall, he's not big. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for this week. 6 degrees north. Next week, we're going to see. Next week, the play-ins would have been done, so we're going to see if you're right about Trae Young, or if I was right about Trae Young, and we'll be into a couple of games into the playoffs. So we'll see if we need to adjust our picks at all. All right, man. Good. Until next week, we out.
Take it easy, chat.
You know what I want to do now? I want to play something for them.
Play it away.
I can't find it. I lost it.
Check it.